Brother, let me tell you something that's going to make you uncomfortable. The woman most likely to cheat isn't who you think she is. She's not the obvious one. She's not walking around with warning signs tattooed on her forehead. In fact, she's probably the one who seems too perfect, too agreeable, too into you right from the start. And here's what kills me. Most men miss these signals because they're designed to be missed. They're hidden in plain sight, wrapped in charm, affection, and sometimes even tears. You think you're being paranoid. You're not. You're being observant. And that observation might save you years of pain. Today, I'm breaking down 8 psychological red flags that women who chronically cheat display. Patterns so consistent, so predictable, that once you see them, you can't unsee them. And stick around until the end, because red flag number 8 is about you. And it's the most important one you'll ever learn. Let's get into it. This woman needs constant external validation. I'm not talking about normal compliments or affection. I'm talking about an insatiable hunger for attention from multiple sources. She's constantly posting selfies, flirting innocuously with other men, fishing for compliments, checking how many likes she got in the last 5 minutes. Picture this. You're sitting right next to her, having dinner, and she's scrolling through her phone, refreshing Instagram, seeing who's watching her stories. You could compliment her 10 times that day. Doesn't matter. She needs that hit from strangers, co-workers, ex-boyfriends. Why is this dangerous? Because a relationship with you will never be enough. You could be the most attentive, loving partner on earth, and she'll still need that dopamine hit from people who don't even know her middle name. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." She's enslaved to other people's opinions. Here's the psychology. This stems from deep-seated insecurity and an unstable sense of self. She doesn't know who she is without external mirrors reflecting validation back at her. The cheating becomes almost inevitable because she's addicted to the feeling of being desired, not to you specifically. But here's where most men fail. They try to out-validate the competition. They shower her with more compliments, more attention, more love, thinking they can fill that void. You can't. That void is bottomless. You're pouring water into a bucket with no bottom. And that's why you need to watch for the next pattern, which is even more subtle. This is the woman whose life story is a highlight reel of being wronged. Every ex was toxic. Every friend betrayed her. Every boss was abusive. She's always the victim, never the villain. And when you meet her, you're positioned as the hero who's finally going to treat her right. At first, you feel honored, special, different from all those other guys who hurt her. But soon, you start noticing something. The stories never add up quite right. Everyone else is always the problem. She's never accountable for anything. Here's the danger. In her narrative, she's never wrong. If she's never wrong, she'll never be wrong when she cheats on you either. It'll be your fault. You didn't give her enough attention. You didn't make her feel special. You changed. Carl Jung called this shadow projection. She takes all her negative traits and projects them onto others. The victim identity is a psychological shield against self-examination. And people who can't examine themselves can't be faithful, because faithfulness requires accountability. But here's where most men fail. They feel special being chosen as the hero. I'm different from all those other guys. No, brother, you're not different. You're just the next chapter in the same story. And when she tells the story to the guy after you, you'll be the villain. Speaking of calculated patterns, here's something even more deliberate. She pushes, she probes, she tests. Early in the relationship, she'll do small things that violate obvious boundaries, keeping close male friends who clearly want more, maintaining emotional intimacy with exes, going out and not responding to texts for hours. She watches how you react. This is reconnaissance, brother. She's mapping your boundaries to see what she can get away with. If you let the small violations slide, she learns she can violate bigger ones. This is Machiavellian strategy disguised as spontaneity or independence. Here's the psychology. Serial cheaters need to know their escape routes before they cheat. They need plausible deniability, so they normalize boundary violations early. We've always been this way. What's the problem? When the actual cheating happens, they can claim you're being controlling or paranoid. But here's where most men fail. They're afraid of seeming insecure or controlling, so they say nothing. They rationalize. She's just friendly. I trust her. Listen carefully. Trust isn't about naivety. It's about earned reliability. And she hasn't earned a damn thing yet. But if you think that's manipulative, wait until you see what comes next. Before we go deeper, just do one thing for me. Hit the like button. If this is already hitting something real, what's coming next will hit even harder. And subscribe, because we're building a brotherhood here. Men who refuse to be played. Men who choose awareness over ignorance. Let's keep going. This woman lives in separate worlds that never touch. Her work friends don't meet her regular friends. Her social media has different privacy settings for different groups. Her stories change depending on who she's talking to. Her life is like a series of sealed rooms, and you're only allowed in some of them. Why is this lethal? Because compartmentalization is the infrastructure of infidelity. She's already practiced keeping people separated, keeping secrets, managing multiple narratives. When she cheats, she doesn't have to learn how to do it. She's been training her whole relationship. This is what psychologists call cognitive compartmentalization, the ability to hold contradictory identities without psychological distress. She can be loving with you on Sunday and cheating on Thursday because in her mind, those are two different versions of herself in two different rooms. But here's where most men fail. They interpret independence as compartmentalization. They think, she has her own life? That's healthy. Yes, but there's a difference between healthy autonomy and deliberate opacity. One is freedom. The other is deception. And that's why the next red flag is about your access to her reality. Ask yourself this: does she volunteer information, or do you have to pull it out of her? Does she share her day naturally, or do her stories have convenient gaps? Is her phone always face down? Does she take calls in another room? Does she have passwords you'll never know? This isn't about invasion of privacy. This is about transparency. Faithful people in healthy relationships don't guard information like classified documents. They share freely because they have nothing to hide. Gatekeeping information is gatekeeping trust. The Stoics taught that secrets are the breeding ground of vice. When someone controls information flow, they control the narrative. And when they control the narrative, they control your perception of reality. She's not protecting her privacy. She's managing your ignorance. But here's where most men fail. They confuse respecting privacy with accepting deception. Brother, you shouldn't need to demand transparency. It should be offered in a healthy relationship, freely, naturally, without hesitation. But even if you catch all these signals, there's one red flag that's invisible until it's too late. She never ends one relationship before starting the next. There's always overlap. She was talking to you while still with her ex. She never has a period of being single. She swings from branch to branch like a monkey in the jungle, never letting go of one until she's got a firm grip on the next. Here's what this tells you. She doesn't know how to be alone. And people who can't be alone can't be faithful. Because faithfulness sometimes means sitting in discomfort, in boredom, in the ordinary, without seeking novelty elsewhere. Psychologically, This is anxious attachment meets low distress tolerance. She uses relationships as emotional regulation. When one isn't working, she needs a backup already warmed up. You're not a person to her, you're a function, and functions are replaceable. But here's where most men fail. They feel special that she chose them while still with someone else. She left him for me. I must be amazing. No, you're just the next branch, and she's already eyeing the one after you. And that leads us to something even more fundamental, a pattern that's about depth, not just behavior. Everything is surface level. Conversations never go deep. She knows your favorite food, but not your childhood wounds. She remembers your birthday, but not your dreams. She's with you, but she's never truly known you. And you realize, you don't really know her either. This is the most insidious red flag because it feels fine day to day. But here's the reality. People don't cheat on relationships they're deeply invested in. They cheat on relationships that are functionally convenient, but emotionally shallow. If she hasn't built deep roots with you, she has no reason to stay when temptation comes. Depth creates loyalty. Vulnerability creates bonds. But shallow connection is just mutual convenience with affection sprinkled on top. And convenience evaporates the moment something more convenient appears. Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. If neither of you is transformed, you're not really together." But here's where most men fail. They mistake companionship for connection, presence for intimacy. They're lonely together and call it love. They're roommates with benefits, not partners building something sacred. But brother, here's the truth that's going to sting. The final red flag, the most painful one, isn't about her at all. The most dangerous red flag is this. You saw the signs and chose to ignore them. You noticed the validation seeking, the victim stories, the boundary violations, the compartmentalization, the gatekeeping, the monkey branching, the shallow connection. And you told yourself, it's fine, I'm overreacting, I'm being paranoid, she wouldn't do that to me. This is the ultimate self-deception, and it's the one that costs men the most. Not just the pain of being cheated on, but the deeper wound of knowing you betrayed yourself by ignoring your own intuition. The Stoics called this voluntary servitude. You willingly handed over your power because you were afraid of the truth. Why do we do this? Because accepting the red flags means accepting loss. It means ending something you've invested in, starting over, facing loneliness. It feels easier to hope you're wrong than to act on what you know is right. But hope without evidence is just fear in disguise. And every day you ignore reality, you make yourself smaller. Nietzsche wrote, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often, and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself." Your willingness to face hard truths is your ownership of yourself. Here's where most men fail. They think the mistake is trusting her. It's not. The mistake is distrusting yourself. When your gut screams warning and your mind manufactures excuses, you're not being rational. You're being a coward. You're choosing comfort over truth, delusion over dignity. Listen carefully. This isn't about hating women or becoming paranoid. Not every woman cheats. Not every red flag means doom. Good, faithful, loving women exist, and they don't display these patterns. This is about you becoming the kind of man who doesn't tolerate deception, who trusts his instincts, who chooses clarity over comfort. Because here's the truth, the right woman will make these red flags impossible. Transparency will be natural. Boundaries will be mutual. depth will be obvious. You deserve someone who makes faithfulness easy, not someone who makes suspicion necessary. Build yourself into a man of such value, such awareness, such self-respect that women who operate in shadows can't survive in your light. If this video woke you up, drop a comment telling me which red flag hit hardest. And share this with a brother who needs to hear it. We protect each other. That's the code. Stay aware. Stay strong. I'll see you in the next one.